to get the term recreational bathing.
Yeah,
it's one of my hobbies. I'm the John that's tiled his bed with textbooks.
And I'm the John that's not done that.
And I'm not John, who is absolutely astounded that every week John number 1 manages to tell me a less interesting fact than himself, and John number 2 tries to bounce off that and does an even worse job. So welcome to episode 5. This is Would John Rather, where I ask John and John, would they rather? It's as simple as that. We're going to dive right in. Would you rather be Godzilla or Mothra?
Good.
Okay, moving on. Would you rather have a monkey tail or a frog tongue?
I'm jumping straight in there with a frog tongue. I actually have a picture up in my hallway of a sad frog, and I think it's the best thing ever. I actually got it from the British Museum. It's a piece of Japanese art, and it's phenomenal. And so that's my starting point. But really, the most important thing about having a frog tongue would be how you can just get all your food so quickly and so efficiently. You don't have to sit in queues. Think of all the queues you've sat in during your life where you've sat there waiting for the canteen lady at school, or the person in the restaurant serving the burgers. You've had to sit there and wait for them to serve you. Well, if you had a frog tongue, you'd go into your whatever restaurant chain you're in. You go up to the kitchen door, you stick your tongue out, you grab whatever it is, and you run, and you're fed.
Do you know when that would be most useful is that cafeteria experience or restaurant experience when you go to use the ketchup or the salt and it's empty, and then you've got to walk to another table to get it. You're like, no, bam. All of a sudden, you've got the condiment required. That would be the most useful application, I think, for the food related aspect of a frog tongue anyway.
How long is a frog tongue in relation to their own bodies?
It's at least twice as long as their body, isn't it?
It'd have been better if you said chameleon tongue, because they're 3 times the length.
Well, I mean, I'll give it
Imagine John smashing out an 18-foot long tongue. No one would be safe. Just imagine, people fending off seagulls, and they've got an 18-foot long John tongue smashing their way. How intimidating is that going to be?
I mean, frankly, even if it was 12 foot, that's still pretty intimidating.
Okay. I've recently had a Google, and I'm going to change the question slightly just because this is down to my gaps in my knowledge. We've all learned something today, because a frog's tongue, when extended, is about the third of the length of a frog. So John would have a 2-foot long tongue. So I'm just going to check.
So he'd basically be Gene Simmons.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just going to check.
A lot of people idolise Gene Simmons.
A lot of ladies from the 70s idolised Gene Simmons.
It's not a bad starting point.
Can I talk about my prehensile monkey tail yet? Because I think that'd be brilliant.
You can in one moment. I just want to make sure that we're educated. So the chameleon tongue is much better. They can be anywhere from 1 to 11/2. So I imagine that's 5 times essentially the body length of the owner, and can rocket in and out with blinding speed. The tongue consists of 3 primary components: the sticky tip, we've all been there, boys, the retractor muscles, and the accelerator muscles. So just to confirm, if there's any confusion, we're changing to would you rather have a prehensile monkey tail or a chameleon tongue? And once again, I can only apologise to all the frog fans that have just tuned out. And also, John, your prior argument is now Frog John. Your prior argument is null and void, because we're now talking about a chameleon tongue, and you don't have a picture from the British Museum of a chameleon by a Japanese artist on your wall. So you're going to need to have a think while John tells us about his tail and reform that argument, I'm afraid.
On one of my many famous tangents, I go on to something that's completely unrelated, but circle back. Yesterday night, I was out on my push bike. I'm trying to learn how to wheelie. It's quite difficult. But if I had a prehensile monkey tail, I could use that as a counterbalance.
Ooh.
So that would help in general with that. I have to learn how to get it out of the way of the rear tyre, or I could just put a mud guard on the back of it to stop it getting caught up in the wheel.
Or you could put a little wheel on the end.
Wheelie tail. That'd be brilliant.
Wheelie tail. It'd be wheelie good.
And then I could get some Heelys and my wheelie tail, and I'll be like really stable, rather than those kids that scoot round the shopping centres, lower one of their feet, and then just trip over and fall straight on their faces, which is so funny.
It's
the
hilarious.
amount of kids I've seen around like shopping centres in non-branded superstores of food just falling over, or like kicking the back of their own foot, or clipping a clip strip on an aisle. It's just brilliant. So I'd be way more in control than them. And I think people would be less grossed out, because if you've got a tail, many animals have got tails. Whereas if you've got an 18-foot long tongue firing across a room, that's going to alarm a lot of people, because it's not subtle. And how far and how fast does it fire out?
I didn't get a speed. I've done enough Googling for one episode. I didn't get a speed, but it did say extremely quick. And obviously they catch moving flies with it, and up to 5 times John's body length. So, I mean, it said it could be between 1 and 5 times. So we'll meet in the middle and say it's 3 times his body length. So that's 18 feet. So let's go with 18 feet long tongue.
All the videos you see of chameleons when they shoot the tongue out at their prey is always done in slow-mo. So it's got to be really quick. That's going to really upset some people. Whereas a person with a tail.
So
if I have a prehensile monkey tail, I could grip with it. Imagine shaking my hand and I just whip out the monkey tail. People are like, that's pretty neat. That's very cool, actually. Do one better than like gobbing their hand with your massive tongue.
I was going to say I could do the same with the tongue. I could reach round and pat them on the back.
And put your sticky tip in my hand. Oh, John, why?
It'd be like that part out of the Charlie and the Unicorn video where they're like, quick, grab onto our tongues, mwah, and they just stick their tongues out and rest it on the back of the bloody unicorn. Just every time you turn your back on John, he just rests his tongue on your shoulder.
You could also apprehend criminals.
Oh?
I don't know if anyone has ever had their phone stolen from them, or know someone where that's happened to them. Perhaps people on those little scooters, they come along and grab someone's phone out of their hands. Imagine that. Someone grabs your phone and then you just stick your tongue out and wrap it around their neck and yank them off the bike. How phenomenal would that be?
Or alternatively,
that's how the tongue works.
Or alternatively, you could get yourself a little scooter and go along with your tongue stealing other people's phones. You could turn to a life of crime.
Well, whatever your life choices.
Imagine sticking out your chameleon tongue, snatching someone's phone, it retracting into your face, and chipping your teeth on an iPhone. That's not going to be fun. No one's going to like that.
A lot of dental
bills. And then
bills.
it's like you're in a lineup and you're like, right, which one stole your phone? That guy over there. That guy over there who's just shot his chameleon tongue halfway across the room to steal the last of that copper's donut.
and then that's exactly why you'd have to turn to a life of crime.
And then you could be a supervillain like I was last week.
You'd have to pay your dental bills with the money you've made from stolen iPhones. And do people still have iPods? Probably not. Or, I don't know, Zunes or whatever.
Wow. I was just thinking if I ever got into cosplay and I had if I had a big long tail, I could pretend I was Goku from back in the day. Bit of Dragon Ball Z. I'd have the most convincing costume there.
I was going to say the most sort of obvious argument for wanting a tail would be that you can climb better with it. But thinking about it, with the tongue, I could probably also use that for climbing. If I can shoot it up, stick to a ceiling 18 feet away, and then retract and pull myself up towards the ceiling, I think that would be equally as good as having a tail that allowed me to climb.
I think what you're... See, a monkey tail has been proven to have the strength to support the body weight of the owner. I mean, if what you're saying is true about the tongue being strong enough to support your weight, I would need some demonstration of that from you next time we're together. And B, that would be extremely amazing David Attenborough footage if you saw a chameleon trying to catch the wrong type of fly, or maybe a small bird that it thought was a fly, and instead of the fly being drawn towards the chameleon's drawn up to the fly. You're not Spider-Man.
You need a neck like Corey Taylor to house that tongue.
I mean, they do say that the tongue is the strongest muscle in the body, don't they? So, you know, if you can do pull-ups with it, well, I don't know, science.
Them with the vaginas, probably.
Women are an advocate saying the tongue is the strong. That's because that's the main muscle they use. Just yap, yap, yap.
Let's not disenfranchise 50% of our listeners.
That's how you alienate 50% of your listeners. We're now down to one listener.
So they're just disappointed there's no frogs involved.
Yeah, and the other 0.5% was a man who was a frogologist, and he was long gone. So that makes us once again the only listeners. But I do continue. Either John, I don't know who I interrupted. Sorry.
Well, you were going to sum it up and give me the win, because a tail is so much more useful than being able to taste things that you're firing your tongue at to try and use as a grappling hook.
Yeah, I think in actual practicality, I mean, how many things do you actually want to lick in general? I mean, in John's job, he can use that tail to be passing him, you know, tools, and, you know, you can hold the ice cream as he's. But how many times have you just needed that third extra hand when you've got your drink in one hand, your car keys in the other, and then you go, oh crap, I need that out of my pocket. It's really difficult. So, and also I personally, being a smoker, like the idea of, you know, you're out on the town on a night out, you've got a beer in one hand, having a cigarette with the other. It's a cute girl nearby who hasn't got a lighter. Oop, tail with a lighter. There you go, darling.
So you could have a designated smoking limb.
Exactly. And I wouldn't want to use my tongue to hold a cigarette because of the fear of burns. So I'm going to go with the monkey tail, because I just think it's more practical of the two. It's more hygienic of the two. Would like to. I don't know whether I'm thanking you or disappointed. Probably a little bit of both. But thanking you both for not turning this into a blue podcast, because you could have very easily used either of those extra appendages to turn this into quite an unsuitable episode. So yeah, I guess.
Don't know what you're about.
No, I knew you wouldn't. You have pure mind. So yeah, monkey tail for the win. Apologies to all the chameleon and frog fans out there. All of those of an amphibious and reptile nature, I do apologise. We're sticking with the boring old mammals. Yeah, I think that about summarises that.
It's a very specific apology.
It is a very specific apology, but I feel like apologies are bandied about too much, and I'm not often sorry, so I'd make the most of this public one. As I'm sure we'll receive some form of hate mail from some sort of community. We've offended somebody about it. So remember, if you'd like to send us in your own questions, just hashtag or at us at woodjrather, and we'll get right onto them, assuming they're suitable. And anything goes. We're trying to keep quite PG to begin with, but I'm sure that eventually the questions will dry up, and we'll have to move on to things a bit further afoot, as you can see by episode 5, when we're talking about specific animal appendages that I have not researched correctly. So, second question of the day, guys. I hope you're ready. Are we ready, John and John? I'll take that as a yes.
Just about.
You thought that was rhetorical, didn't you? I apologise.
This is a bit where you ask us a question, isn't it?
It is. Would you rather have a shower or a bath?
I'd go for a shower because it's quicker. You don't have to stew in your own human soup in a bath. You can rinse your hair, and, well, what little hair I have, I can rinse it out. And I'm not sitting around in bubbles of scummy, soapy water. It's just not nice. Just not nice. Personal preference. And I've got quite a nice tattoo on one of my legs, so I've got to shave my dark hair, and I don't really fancy sitting in a bath with my own leg hair floating around.
On the other hand, I think I would probably rather have a bath. What a surprise, I'm sure. There's nothing relaxing about having a shower. You're constantly getting pummeled with high pressure water. That you can disparage a bath all you like, but you can't sit back in the shower and read a book or watch your iPads. You can sit back with some soothing music that's not been drowned out by the slow pummel of...
John, I've got to stop you there. I said shower, not waterboard.
Well, I'm trying to make a convincing argument because the last 3 questions you've asked, I have given my all, and you've just decided it based on your own whims on arguments that haven't been made. So I'm having to go all in on this one.
But we know Matt's going to agree with me that like sticking the shower on nice and hot, cranking it all the way up and letting it just beat down and like massage the back of your neck and your shoulders after a long, stressful day in hospitality or retail, because we both know they're the same. They're both very difficult when you've got people that just want the moon on a stick, and even then they wouldn't be happy. And you can't punch them in the face. So you have a long, nice hot shower at the end and unwind and relax. You don't need to stew in soap suds and potentially drop your Barbara Cartland novel in the tub, do you? You don't want that.
You just haven't invested enough in your bathtub. You need jacuzzi jets. You don't get jacuzzi jets in a shower. You just get pummeled by potentially acidic water. Who knows what's going to come out of the tap? At least in a bath.
The same stuff.
You can test it first with your foot and see if it's too hot. Also, you can be in the shower and somebody's messing about with a tap in another room and suddenly you get scolded. Nobody wants that risk. They want to sit in the bath and they want to relax with some calming music and some scented candles and a book. That's the argument.
Well, that's the most passionate I've heard you talk about anything ever. I have to say, I think it depends what your purpose of using these are. I mean, from a purely cleaning yourself basis, I have to go with shower. It's more practical, it's quicker. But from your argument, John, of relaxing, do I find a shower relaxing? No. I've got to stand up. Every shower I've ever basically had, because I always live in subpar accommodation, is either halfway through turning freezing cold or boiling hot. I've had showers where I've lived where the ceiling's a bit too low, and if you've had a bath in a bath that's too small, okay, fine, but if you've had a shower where the ceiling's too low and you've got a crooked neck afterwards, it's just not practical. Whereas your argument of relaxing, I like to run a nice hot bath, ease myself into it. You know those baths that are that hot that you have to put one foot in, then another, slowly ease it down, and then you hover for a bit before you put your gentleman's area finally into it before it begins to boil. And just sit back, relax, put on some music, and think about the day while your body slowly cooks. And
so
as well,
you're advocating melting yourself. And I'm afraid if I argue any more for a shower, John's going to run a bath specifically to drown me in it.
Yeah, as I said, I think it depends what it is you're wanting out of the experience.
So, like a method of torture, a bath is better.
No,
you say torture. You say torture, but the most famous murder film ever involves being murdered in a shower.
Silence of the Lambs.
No.
Scream?
No. The original Psycho Killer.
Okay. Pay for our premium subscription if you want to know what the fucking film John's talking about is. Well, if you're going to have that argument about murder being in
the 1960s classic
The Shining. Oh.
Psycho.
Oh.
The shower scene.
Oh, fair enough. But then, I guess, especially as it seems to be one of the buzz topics at the moment, if we're going to talk about showers being one of the key places for murder, baths are one of the key places for suicide.
Whitney Houston.
But if you're gonna go out, don't you want to be at a time of your choosing? You don't want to be stabbed to death unexpectedly when you're vulnerable in the shower. If you're gonna take a toaster to the bathtub, that's your choice. You've gone out on your own terms.
You're equally less mobile in a shower or a bath. You are not escaping. There's not many places to go apart from where you're standing.
Look, Alfred Hitchcock chose the shower for a good reason.
I'm going to make one more point on what we're currently discussing, but we are not turning this into a would you rather be killed or kill yourself. But I feel
in a bath or a shower.
In either of those situations, I'd probably
it could be one of four outcomes.
I'd rather be in the bath because I think the difference of getting up to escape is probably quicker than potentially wrapping yourself up in a shower curtain. And because you'd have to take the time to get up to escape, you're less likely to trip over the edge of the bath, assuming it's a shower over a bath. But no, we're not going to talk too much on death because it's a bit of a negative, bit of a downer, this topic. So washing, if you're just trying to get yourself clean, shower. If it's for any other purpose, as a hobby, as a bit of R&R.
Have you put that on your CV?
Hobbies.
What do you do?
Five-a-side football, bathe. I put I'm an artist because I'm regularly drawing baths. And I'm glad you like that because nobody else will. So, yeah, I'm going to have to say that I haven't had a bath in a long time because a lot of places now only have shower facilities and don't have bathing facilities. And I miss a bath. So I think just because of the fact that in today's society where everything is quicker with technology, we're expected to do more in less time for less money. We have less time on our hands to enjoy ourselves. That maybe once in a year when I get the chance to have a bath is better than the rest of the year's showers put together. So I'm going to go with bath, partly because I do fully enjoy a bath, music, book, just relaxing, partly because I think John might go and take a toast to the bath if I don't award him a win at some point.
He needs this, Matt. He needs this.
He needs the win. He came out of the guard with a strong start in episodes 1, 2 and 3, but recently he's been falling behind. So yeah,
thanks for your pity win.
It wasn't a pity win. It was a combination of pity and Matt logic.
Just take it. Don't question it.
I'm taking and running with it.
Take the win. Run. Don't run.
Don't run in the bath.
The floor could be wet. And also, just going back to the shower and the bath part, because we've all got siblings, we were all once of that age where we were probably forced to share the washing facility at the same time with someone else. Now, as much as I resented the fact that when it was a bath, you had to sometimes sit in the bath together or share bath water because it was quicker or you didn't have enough hot water, or I've just released to the internet what a weird family we were, but I know it happens to other people. That is still preferred. I would rather sit in the bath currently, right now, with my brother than I would get into a shower with my brother. Not a communal shower where there's multiple shower heads. I'm talking about home shower. I would much rather sit in a bath with my brother than get in a shower with him. So that's another reason I'm going for bath.
I'm going to send him that in a message. I'm not even going to tell him the context. I'm just going to send him that. Guess what your brother said to me, mate? Bearing in mind that, like, you two know him better than I do. Well, Matt, obviously you know him the best out of us three, but I know him the least.
I've known him his entire life. Yeah, if I start getting selfies of my brother in the bath every day, I'm going to come straight for you, because that is not something that I want as part of my daily routine. I don't want the phrase it's my brother's bath selfie to become an important part of my vernacular when explaining why my phone's going off every day.
Hashtag would you rather, hashtag brother bath.
Brother bath.
Bath time brothers.
Bath time brothers. There must be a sitcom. We could do that. Maybe that'll be a separate podcast I start with where we get in the bath together and discuss the week's news.
And have a chat.
And have a chat in the bath.
Natural echoing reverb from the tiles behind you.
Some amazing acoustics, yeah.
Political podcast with really good acoustics. That is what the internet is missing.
Oh dear Lord!
That's an even more niche market.
It's so very niche, and I think it would have to be a podcast or a radio show, because I'm worried that if that was any sort of TV or YouTube show, we'd be attracting a very different audience for a very different reason. So, but that's one to put in the idea bank should we ever need any further ideas.
Oh.
So we'll move swiftly on. Have you prepared a question for me this week?
Yes, I have. It's my turn this week. Would you rather be able to teleport, but only moving 1 inch at a time, or have the ability to open doors correctly all of your life? You know those tricky doors that you're not sure if it's a push-pull and you get wrong and you're like, no! And there's a person at a reception desk shaking their head like, you're a mong, what are you doing? Don't come in here. And you still have to go into that building after not being able to open the door properly.
Okay, well, I already know my answer, but I'm going to preface it with a good would you rather question doesn't need that much explanation. I knew what you meant.
Sorry.
I knew what you meant, but I had no chance to interrupt you while you went on your tirade. I feel like you have a personal vendetta about certain types of doors, and that this isn't your personal counselling session, John.
No, that was last week with Reedy Music.
Maybe you can join me and my brother in the bath at some point and we'll talk you through it. So, yeah.
Is that a promise or a threat?
Both.
Oh.
Both. I'm going to go with the ability to teleport 1 inch, because even though you've put a limit on my teleportation abilities, teleportation is instantaneous. So I could actually cover great distances extremely quickly. So I wouldn't be able to teleport through walls or anything like that, but I could technically fly, because I could teleport instantly every time I materialise. So as long as I kept teleporting in that trajectory, it wouldn't be as quick as instant teleporting, but I could still move extremely quickly, and I'm willing to hazard that it would be quicker than walking. And yeah, so based purely on that fact, maybe I've logicked my way out of it, but I don't see any real constraints on that other than I just have to do it a bit more.
Until you meet a door where you don't know which way it's going, and then you're screwed.
Because let's face it, you can't teleport through it.
No, I can't, but I don't struggle with doors that often. I mean, I occasionally put the wrong key in the door, or, I mean, there is a door in the bar at work that there is a lock to, and it is locked. We don't know what's behind it, and we don't know where the key is. And it does bother me, but based on your explanation, that's not the kind of... You didn't say I could unlock any lock. You just said that I'd know whether I need to push or pull a door. and most of those have labels on that say push or pull. And I quite like that little, especially when there's somebody else there, where you go to push a pull door and they go, I thought it was a pull, and then you have a conversation. That could be how I meet my future wife, by trying to push a pull door.
By her taking pity on you.
Exactly.
Rather than her being impressed by your teleportation skills.
Exactly.
So you're going to pull out a push?
Yes.
Every opportunity, so you can meet your future wife?
Yes.
I feel like my joke pun has been completely lost.
Yeah, I didn't catch it.
Oh, you're going to pull out a push.
Very, very good.
My gosh.
When you have to explain your jokes.
Bear with me, because I've just thought of a very strange tangent, but I am going somewhere, and this does happily link everything together. So if I did accidentally push a pull door or pull a push door or, whatever, if it does get too awkward that I feel awkward, I could just teleport really quickly backwards out of the situation. And on that same note of awkward situations, I know we changed it from frog to chameleon, but whenever the conversation has come up, if you could have the skill of an animal, what would it be? My go-to answer is, those frogs, the frogs that expand their neck and they sort of do that whoop whoop thing when they're breathing. I'd love to be able to do that. You're just sitting there having a conversation dries up a bit of an awkward silence, just whoop whoop with your neck. I just think that would, if I could just do that once in an awkward situation, that would make me the happiest person in the world.
I think it'd be just as good to spit your tongue out at them like a frog.
I think a prehensile tail would be really useful.
We're not going back on any decisions that are made. But, yeah, I mean, if either of you have got any disagreements with my reasoning behind being able to teleport, then please feel free. But as I'm sure we're all aware, it might only be an inch, but an extra inch makes all the difference. It doesn't matter whether you win by an inch or a mile.
Have you got any more inch-related cliches?
I have a
The
vague...
journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first inch.
Yeah, I have a vague recollection there was some sort of TV program or book called Inchworm, but I don't really have that memory completely, like, it's very fuzzy in my brain. Maybe it was a song we had to sing in school, I don't really remember.
Got one for you. It's a little bit long-winded, but it could be the outro, if you really like it. I was walking along the other day, and I walked past a second-hand store. And I thought, there's a nice-looking lamp in there, I'll go in there. So I pick up the lamp. It's brass, it's a bit tarnished. I rub the lamp, and out pops a genie. I'm like, oh, this is brilliant. And I decide, oh no, shit, I've told the joke completely wrong. Don't use it as the outro. I mixed my jokes up. So that's it. So, right, this is going to require a lot of editing
a man walks into a bar, and the bartender says, "Why the long face?"
No, I'm in a bar, and my mate turns up. Just ignore everything I said previously. I'm in a bar, my mate turns up, and he says, "I've had a really interesting day. It's been a bit weird." I was like, "Oh, what's happened?" And he says he went into a second-hand shop, picked up a lamp, and the genie pops out. And he's like, "Oh, okay, right. Where's this going?" And he said, "Right, in come my crew, and then in walks an ostrich." I'm like, "Okay, I don't quite get this." And he says, "I asked for a bird with long legs, didn't I?" And then he's like, "Right, I'll have 3 beers." And this cat walks in, and he turns around to the cat. "Oi, cat, are you going to pay for these beers?" And the cat's like, "No, not paying for these beers. I'm not paying for anything. You can buy me peanuts." So I turn around to my mate and go, "What's up with the cat? The cat talks." He's like, "Yeah, tight pussy. Ain't going to pay for the food. Ain't going to pay for the drink." I was like, "Right, okay, this is very strange." And then in walks a man, a very small man. And this is one of those old school pubs. It's got a piano in the corner. So he jumps up on the piano. He starts playing it. And I look at my mate, and he looks at me. I look at him again and go, No, I don't get the small bloke. And he turns around, looks at the guy on the stool playing the piano, turns around and he goes, "I've now got a 12-inch pianist."
Very nice. See, I recently also found a genie, and I rubbed the lamp. I found a lamp and it had a genie inside, and he said to me, "I'll give you one choice. You can have a long memory or a long penis." I forget what I picked.
And Aladdin isn't a superhero. Just harking back to that.
Oh.
We don't have to call back to every episode we've done. Otherwise, episode 50 is going to be like 17 hours long. Anyway, so after those jokes and the discussion, yeah, I would rather be able to teleport an inch at a time based on my previous decisions. As already stated, please tweet at us because I'm severely running out of ideas for Would You Rather questions. I know it's only episode 5, but it's proving difficult. I need your assistance. So yeah, tweet at us Would You Rather, hashtag Would You Rather. And
Hashtag Bath Brothers.
Hashtag Bath Brothers. Getting on the ground floor. We'll start a Kickstarter. Need a Kickstarter for that. We'll bathe in a different fluid every week. I really didn't want to say fluid with the idea of bathing with my brother. That's it from me. I've been Not John, and this has been Would You Rather.
I've been John, and I've been bad at telling jokes today. Sorry.
And I've been John, who's a sad frog with a long tongue.
See you later, alligator.
Have sex with a goat.
I'd have sex with a goat.